you don't have your camera on, if you can please turn it on so just so we can see who's here. If you don't feel comfortable, that's perfectly fine. But yes, so I just wanted to kind of introduce myself first. My name is Melissa Chavarria. I'm the Career Integration Specialist. So I know I see a lot of familiar faces from the juniors and senior classes. And yeah, so I wanted to go ahead and introduce our guest. So it's going to be Jalan Andros. He is a business consultant with Oracle. So Oracle is kind of, Jalan could give you more information on Oracle. I'm not the best at giving information on those types of companies. But yeah, so you can go ahead and start, Jalan, whenever you feel like it.
Got you. As Melissa said, I do work at Oracle right now, serving as a business development consultant. And just Oracle, I guess, just to make it simple, it's a Fortune 500 technology company, and I work in sales. Right now it takes some time to work up to the sales portion of it, but right now I'm in more so the business development piece. It's been amazing. It's been a journey. And yeah, it's actually pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie, I like it. I like it a lot. Have enjoyed my time. First and foremost, I do want to say, thank you to Kip, just the entire organization for just allowing me this opportunity. I would say to virtually, I think that's very different, but to virtually be here with you all today, definitely appreciative of that. I also want to say thank you to both Don and Melissa. Just for being just so helpful and just allowing me to, of course, be a part of this, but man, just really putting it together and just helping to orchestrate it. And then lastly, I also want to say my thank yous to everybody that's on the call, to the students. Man, shout out to y'all because, yeah, the transition that you all had to go through from the, in class to virtual, kudos, because I'm just not sure, if I would have been able to make it. So I definitely want to say shout out to the students because, there's a lot of things that you could have been doing in this time, but you chose to be here with me today and just to be here with us and just to engage in this conversation. So before we start, I do want to, I want everybody, throughout this conversation, I want us to utilize the chat. So if things come to mind or if a thought comes to mind or maybe a question, just feel free to just put that in the chat. And, just throughout, I just really want to engage. I think that's so important. And virtually, that is our best way to make it happen. So definitely want that to be a thing. And yeah, I actually want to start us off with something different. And I want to start us off with a story. And this is a story that I had the chance to hear at a conference that I went to last year. And it was a story about a father and a son. See, the father, like throughout the year, he was always big on like personal development. And like, he just loved to go to these conferences, because he just really believed in just getting better each and every day. Like that was his thing. But the thing was, he would always also have somebody, that would watch his son when he goes to these conferences. But for some reason, with this upcoming conference, nobody wanted to watch his son. And I'm not sure if that meant like the son was bad. Like, I don't know what it meant, but nobody wanted parts of his son on this day. So the dad told his son, I need you to go with me. So they go to the conference. He sits his son in the back and he tells his son, I need you to stick this one out with me, but I want you to try your best to learn something. So the son is sitting and the conference is going on, presenters are presenting, speakers are speaking, but there was this one woman and she spoke about impact and it landed on the son. So later that night, they got home and the son he goes to his dad, he talks to him and tells him, Dad, I really enjoyed the conference. Like, I just really enjoyed it. And I didn't even think I would like it, but man, like it was so dope. And there was this woman, the woman that spoke about impact, like that's the speech that like touched me. Like, and I just loved every moment of it because I just seeing just how much, what impact really means and just what that looks like, what it looks like to impact people. I want to be an impact now. He asked his dad, what's the best way that he can impact the people? His dad suggests that he goes to the local grocery store, gets a job there. So he goes to the store, he's working. It had to be maybe like 2 weeks in to the job. He comes home, tells his dad, Dad, I'm enjoying the job. Like, I really like it. I'm loving it. But I feel like there's something else that I could do. Like, there's one more thing that I could do to just make an impact. I actually had this idea where I create these cards and I put some words of encouragement on them and I put a word of the day at the top. Anybody that comes through my line will get a card. Can you help me make copies? The son gets the copies. He goes to work. You know, he's working. And again, everybody that comes through his line gets a card. And it got to the point to where, I kid you not, like people people began to come to the store, not even to get groceries anymore. They would come into the store because they wanted the word of the day, or they wanted their words of encouragement. Like they wanted the card. That was the most important thing to them in their grocery store runs. And the manager came into the store and he noticed this. So he got on the intercom and he was like, "Hey, everybody, you do know that line 5, 6, and 7 are open also, right?" And people looking around like, yeah, I know it. But the reason that I came is because I want that card. Like I want the word of the day. I want the words of encouragement. And there's a quote by Maya Angelou, and it just says, you know, people may forget what you said, people may forget what you've done, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And the reason that I just love that story, and when I think about it, man, it just shows that it's the smallest things in life that just have the biggest impact. Like every time I think of that, that's the first thing that comes to mind. So the first question, you know, that I really wanted to throw out and, you know, just, you know, have you all think about, it's rhetorical, but the question is, you know, in this time of COVID-19, in this time of uncertainty, you know, in this time of, I don't know what's happening in life, like it just in this time of, I don't know, you know, what are you still doing to be an impact? And I just want, you know, everybody just take some time and, you know, just really think about that. And the reason that I throw that question out is because, man, that's a question that I had to ask myself. Like, I'm not gonna lie, for the longest, I never understood what impact meant. And it wasn't until last year, 2019, where I fully understood it. But see, I believe in giving a backstory. So I actually want to take it back to 2016, where I started. Because it was junior, you know, sophomore year. I'm in college, I'm having a conversation with my mentor and we're talking. And just in the midst of that conversation, he asked me 2 questions. His first question was, "Jalen, what's your passion, man?" And I was like, you know, I like sneakers. Like if you see me on campus, I've probably got sneakers on. Like that's what I like. And I love the fact that we're, you know, virtual right now, because I really wish, you know, I could show you all my closet and just show you my collection. Like anytime I got money in college, I was spending it on sneakers. That was my thing. He then followed up and asked me, "Okay, that's your passion. That's cool. How can you take your passion and give it back to the world? Like, what's your plan?" And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, and I'm like, to be honest with you, I don't know. Like, if I could really be honest, I'm not thinking about anybody else when I'm buying my sneakers. Like, I'm not thinking of the world. And he said, "Okay, I want you to think about that. And when you come up with your plan, I want you to let me know what you came up with." So I took some time, you know, a few weeks passed and maybe a few months passed, and I began to really think about it. And I came up with this bright idea to do a shoe drive for my hometown. And every time I think about that experience and just that event, man, it was one of the most, you know, fulfilling events that I've been able to be a part of, because, you know, I was able to bring my family. I was able to bring my friends. I was able to bring, man, people from my church, the community, all together to do the one thing that I love to do most, and that is to serve other people. Now I want to take you to 2019, where it all started to make sense. There was this lady from my church, and throughout the entire year, she would always send my parents money through Cash App to send to me. Like I never understood it. But I'm not gonna lie, if I could really be honest, I never asked questions neither. Like every time I got the money, you know, I would put it into my account and I would, you know, maybe spend it on something. So every other month she was sending me money, and it got to a point where I had to ask my parents, I'm like, why does she continue to send me money? Like, what is that about? And they shared with me, she just says she loves you. Like that's all she said. She just said she loves you. So I'm like, okay, okay. So as we get closer to the end of 2019, Christmas is approaching. And we're closer, and she reaches out to my parents again, and she asks them, "When is Jalen coming home? And when he does, can you tell him to come see me? I miss him." So of course, I went home for Christmas. I went to go see my family, my friends, and of course, I went to go see her. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. Like I walked up the steps, I'm knocking at the door, and she comes out, and I kid you not, like we just stopped and just looked at each other, and we just started smiling. And I'm just like, you know, "Hey, Miss Jackie, how's it going? How you been?" And we just, man, just chopping it up. And in that conversation, you know, there's 2 things that she told to me. And to be honest, every time I think about it and every time I just talk about it, I actually still get, you know, just a little emotional about it, because it just means so much every time I think about it. In that conversation, she told me, the first thing that she said was, again, "Jalen, I love you so much." Now, remind you, I always said I never understood where the love came from. Like I'm like, we don't talk enough for you to love me. Like, I'm confused. Where is this coming from? She then told me, back in 2016, I was in a very, bad place, like a negative headspace. Like life just wasn't, as good to me. But what I do believe that, people are brought into our lives for a reason, sometimes to get us out of those seasons. And that person for me was you. See, back in 2016, when I saw you doing the shoe drive and I saw you giving back to people and I just saw how much you love to serve the community, like I saw it, it was through you that I was able to see bits and pieces of my son. Like you were the closest thing that I had to being able to see my son again because he's no longer here with me. He passed away a few years ago. And when she told me that, I didn't know how to feel. And I got just emotional thinking about it. And it just got to a point where I just began to question myself. I'm like, me, like little old me, like I'm able to bring that to you. And the way that I took this conversation and just took this experience is that it's at this moment when I realized that there are people that we know, like you have your friends, you have your family, like you, man, just people that you know that are supporting you, like they cheering for you each and every day. But there's also another group of people that you don't know, that you've never talked to, that you've never met. You don't even know they exist. They might not even be born yet. But man, they still, they're cheering for you, like they want you to achieve your dreams. And there was this quote. Every time I think of the story, it's a quote that comes to mind. It's by one of my favorite speakers, Inky Johnson, and it says, every person's purpose is tied to somebody else's purpose and destiny. And, if you want to take that down, I can say it again, but every person's purpose is tied to somebody else's purpose and destiny. And that quote to me, it was deep. Like that was a deep quote. And I don't think I ever realized just how important I was. And I don't think I realized just how much impact I can have on other people. Again, it's the smallest things that impacts people the most. So what I want to do right now, I actually, I had this activity. I have two activities that I wanted to get into and just wanted you all to do with me. And they're very simple. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a pretty complex guy. I'm a pretty simple guy. So I like to keep it keep it as simple as possible. So I wanted to share these pictures. I have 3 pictures that I want to show to you all. And all I want, just in the chat, as you see the pictures, I just want you to place in the chat, who do you see? So let me see if I can share my screen. Let's see if I can get that. I get the PowerPoint mode. Okay. All right. So this is our first picture. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know him. He's a great guy, great basketball player. But if you could place in the chat who you see. Let's see, I don't think I could. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I don't think I could view the chat. Okay. Got LeBron. Okay. We all know LeBron. Okay. In the words of DJ Khaled, let's do another one. So we have, it's my guy. I just watched the movie the other day. This is my guy. Again, if you could just drop in the chat, who's in the picture. Then I have one more. It's another great guy. You just drop in the chat, who's in this picture as well. Okay. Let's go. So, the reason that I shared those pictures, I mean, I'm pretty sure at first you may have thought, it was going to play a guessing game, or, maybe I was going to give you somebody that you didn't know, somebody, somewhere along those lines. But to be honest, I picked those pictures because those are three people that I think, most of us are familiar with or have seen before. And the thing about it is, when it comes to those people, like we have celebrities and man, just people that look like they've made it. I believe that the one thing that we tend to forget about in life is that we see where they are, but man, for some reason we forget the middle piece, and the middle piece is the journey. Like the middle piece is the adversity, the middle piece is the opposition, the middle piece is those that's circumstances that almost, man, it almost took you out and it made you feel like I can't do it, like I'm not supposed to be where I'm at. Like I mean, I always think about it. Like let's take LeBron. Had LeBron let his circumstances stop him, man, we wouldn't even know who LeBron is. Like you take Eminem, like had Eminem let his circumstances just stop him, we would have no idea who Eminem is. And Tyler Perry, he was homeless. So you could imagine those circumstances and what that felt like. But let's just imagine, had he let his circumstances stop him, we would have no idea who he is neither. And there's a quote that just goes perfectly with this. And it simply says, the most successful people, they don't change their circumstances by just working hard. They change their circumstances by changing their mindset. Again, the most successful people, they don't just change their circumstances by just working hard. Of course, that's a part of it. But man, they change them by changing their mindset. So I have another activity that I just want us to do real quick. And that one is, I'm pretty sure we all had goals for 2020. COVID-19 shook us up, kind of shook everybody up. I get it. But, we're going to get through the year. But I want everybody, if you have a list of goals for 2020, I would like for everybody to at least just drop one. Just drop one in the chat. And it could be brief. It doesn't have to be, long. Let's see if I can drop one. We got new friends. Okay. Then we got the goals coming in. Goals are coming in. Great. Get ready to apply to college. Okay. Healthy habits. That's a good one. I need to work on that too. Or veggies. That's a good one. That is a good one. Procrastination is real. Still working on that to this day. Okay. So, and like as you see, we all have goals, and man, just when 2020 at the top of 2020, I mean, just like every year, we all have our goals that we want to accomplish and that we want to, make, we want to bring them to life. But the question, and I actually want to push it further, like, first I ask you what's your goal, or just what are your goals? But now I want to push it further, and I want to ask you, what are your goals attached to? And like what I mean by that question is, man, is your goal just only attached to you, or is your goal attached to something that is bigger than you? Because see, what happens in life is, so many times our goals only are for us. They only benefit us. And like, I'm not gonna lie to you, when your goals only benefit you, that can only get you so far. But the thing about it is, when you attach your goals to something that's bigger than you, man, maybe that's your family, maybe that's a brother, maybe that's a sister, like just something that is not just about you, but about somebody else. I believe that that's when, man, we could kick that goal into overdrive. Like that's when things get harder, just opposition comes, or COVID-19 comes knocking at your door. That is when you could at least get over the hump, because it's like, man, I have to because my brothers count on me. I have to because my sister is counting on me. I have to because, man, my teachers, they're counting on me. Like I owe it to them, my family. And just as I'm talking about this, I'm reminded of it was an interview I had the chance to watch, and it was between a reporter and a nurse. And the reporter just asked the nurse, man, like in the midst of COVID-19, how are you still able to come and do your job? Like, you're not scared? And the nurse, the key word that stuck out to the nurse was job. So when the nurse heard the word job, the nurse immediately, instantly responded and was like, my job? Like, did you just say job? Like, is that all you think this is to me? Because in my opinion, and what I feel, what the thing that I do and that I'm doing every day, this is not just a job to me. This is a part of my mission. Like, this is a part of my purpose, because it is that deep. Like, this is not just a job to me. So when I ask you about your goals, the real question is it that deep? Because when it comes to our goals, like, we have to attach it to something that's bigger than us. Because, man, to be honest, and I've done it, but we all are more than likely to hit a wall at some point. To where, I'm not gonna lie, you're not gonna feel it. Like, you don't get to a point. It's like, I don't think I can do it. Like, I actually don't think it's for me. Man, it's just not working in my favor. Like, you're gonna get to that point where you're gonna be telling yourself no. But again, it's just in the back of your mind. You have to remember that, man, I owe it to such and such. Man, I owe it to my teachers. I owe it to my family. Like, it's bigger than me, because that's the thing that's gonna get you over the hump. Again, the most successful people, they change their mindset. And while I'm saying this, it sounds, man, such a great phrase, but if I could be honest with you, that's something that I struggle with. Because back in college, it was tough. Like, college for me, it was cool. Like, some of the best times, but also some of the worst times, I would say. And it was, man, my journey is one of those journeys I look back on and I appreciate it and I love it. But, man, I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you, man, I experienced so much growth and I just learned so much about myself. Because I always remember, man, back was freshman year to like junior year, I never had a job. Like, I could never get an internship. Meanwhile, everybody around me, all my friends and just people I know, man, they getting these nice internships. Like, they getting these nice company cars. Like, they going to these nice different states. Like, they living. And I'm sitting there just taking it in, and I'm asking myself, what am I doing wrong? Like, am I not? I make good grades. I mean, I should be able to get an internship. Like, something should work for me. But to be honest, nothing was working for me. Like, every time I went home in the summer, I did end up getting a job, and it was at a farm. It's always interesting every time I say it and I think about it. But yeah, for 3 summers straight, I worked on a farm. And of course, now I'm here at Oracle. So, man, if that doesn't tell you a journey, I don't know what does. But the reason, every time I think of that, man, I just think about where I came from and I think about where I am now. Because what happens is that when it comes to this thing called life, I always believe that the first thing that you could do to overcome any obstacle, any circumstances that does not look like it's working in your favor, is to embrace it. And I had to get to a point where I embraced what was happening in my life. I had to get to a point where I embraced, yes, my friends are getting these nice jobs and I'm on the farm today. Like, that is okay. And it was at that moment that I also shifted gears and I told myself, okay, this is my situation. These are my circumstances. That's fine. Okay, let me change my mindset. Let me tell myself that going into senior year, by the time I graduate, I will have a job post-graduation. And I remember it like it was yesterday. Like, I had 4 interviews in my senior year, and I remember them all so perfectly. And before every interview, I had a long mirror. I had a long mirror in my dorm. I love that mirror. Every time I went to the mirror, I would look into the mirror. Before every interview, I would go to that mirror and I would just say, all right, this is the first interview, y'all. I'm like, okay, you got it. Like, man, your smile is bright, like your teeth are white. And man, I'm not gonna lie, your suit is pretty nice. Like, you got it. So I go to the interview and I just know it. Like, I know I got this job. Like, I'm killing it. I'm not hesitating. I'm not stuttering. Like, I got it. And I kid you not, a few hours later, I got an email saying, you didn't get the job. That's fine. That's fine. We go to the second interview. I go back to my mirror and I hype myself up and I'm just looking in the mirror and I'm saying, man, you know, your smile is bright, you know, your teeth are white, and your suit is very nice. You got it. Go kill them. I get to the second interview. And again, I just knew I had this one because I'm answering the questions. I'm not hesitating. I'm not stuttering. Like, I got it. I kid you not, a few hours after that interview, I got another email just telling me you did not get the job. Okay. So now it's getting hard. Remember, I said it's all about your mindset, but I'm not gonna lie, mindset it got pretty hard when things weren't going my way. But again, third time's a charm. So I go to that third interview and I'm like, okay. I go back to that mirror and I'm just telling myself, okay, your smile is bright, your teeth are white, and your suit is nice, but I'm not gonna lie. Y'all know I love my sneakers. Your shoes, oh my gosh, they nice. And I'm just excited, like I'm hyping myself up, and I go to that third interview. And again, I just know I had this one because I didn't get the past two interviews, so I know I'm learning. I've learned a lot. I got some tricks up my sleeve. I know I got this one. I'm not hesitating. I'm not stuttering. I got it. The thing about this interview, I didn't even walk out the room. And the person told me, thank you for interviewing, but we'll most likely we'll look into some other candidates. And I just remember, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. I know I was talking about a positive mindset, and I know, that's what I've learned so far. But at that moment, I saw no positivity in that. Like it was at that moment, to be honest with you, I wanted to give up. Like I remember talking to my parents, and I told them, like, maybe I should take a break. Like maybe this graduating from college and getting a job, maybe that's not my thing. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe me working on the farm is maybe where I'm supposed to be. And I remember, man, both of them told me something, and I'll always remember it, and I will never forget it. And they shared with me, Jalen, every time you're interviewing, understand that you're not losing anything. Like every time you interview, you're only learning. So you should keep going. Please don't let this stop you. Keep going. So I took the advice. I had one more interview. This is my fourth interview. And I go back to my mirror. I'm not gonna lie, this time I didn't really hype myself up. I looked into the mirror and I just said, man, you got it. You've prepared for it. Go do your thing. So I go to the interview and I'm killing this one. I didn't get the past three, so I've learned, 3 new things. I got some tricks up my sleeve. I'm not hesitating. I'm not stuttering. I got it. And this was finally, this was the interview where I finally got the job. Like, this is how I got to Oracle. And every time I just think about how it played out in just those 4 interviews, I always think about, what if I had stopped at interview 1? Like, what if I stopped at interview 2? Or man, what if I would have stopped at interview 3? I wouldn't even be here. And to be honest, I wouldn't even be able to be in this position to even be here with you all to share this experience virtually. Like none of these things that I'm able to do now, they wouldn't be possible. Impact. Of course I could do my thing and I could impact, but man, you know what I'm saying? The more, as you continue to go through life and you continue to overcome circumstances, your impact only builds. And that's something that I always think back on. But, you would assume, graduated college, I got the job, I'm moving to a new state, I got it made. Like, I thought so too. Like, I thought, man, I was good. But what I learned real fast was, again, I'm from Georgia, from Thomaston, Georgia, and that's a very small town. And I went to college in Georgia. So me coming to Texas was my first big move. I had never been away from home. And it's crazy, but the thing is, most of the time when people go to college, they go out of state. So the people that I knew, they already did their 4 years in a whole nother place. They've learned how to navigate it. For me, this was year 1. So you could only imagine everything that I went through, the emotions. Like I remember had to be 5 a.m. That's the day my parents left me. It was 5 a.m. in the morning and I'm looking out the window and I just got sad. Everything just hit me. I began to feel lonely. Like I even went to depression. Like I couldn't understand how I was supposed to even navigate this new space by myself. Like I didn't get it. And I'm gonna tell you this, it all really started to come together and it really kicked in one night when I came back from 6th Street. Like that's the thing too. When I first got to Austin, I'm not gonna lie, I was out. Like I was at the parties. I was on 6th Street. I'm doing anything and everything to be with friends. I was doing anything and everything that could keep me away from being by myself, that could keep me from having to face myself and learn who I am and just learn how to navigate this space by myself. So if I could, man, depend on anybody or just lean on anybody, that's what I was doing. But I'm gonna tell you this, it really clicked. The night I got back from 6th Street, it had to be 3 a.m. I walked into my apartment and I just walked in and I'm looking around and I'm like, man, you got furniture? That's nice. You got it, man. You living. I go to my closet. I see I got clothes. I got my nice shoes. Man, you living like you got it. I go to my refrigerator. I got my food. I got snacks in the kitchen. I got it. Like it looked like I had everything that I was supposed to have. But if I could be honest with you all, man, I actually felt like I had nothing because I actually felt very empty on the inside. And it got so bad to where I called my parents and I told them, I'm not supposed to be here in Austin. I need to come home. Like I remember that conversation. Like I think I broke down crying and I was like, it's not me. Like this is not for me. And my mom, she asked me, are you sure? Like, are you sure you want to come home? And while I felt it in my heart, the answer was yes. I just knew in my mind, again, the positive mindset that we spoke about, I just knew in my mind that I'm supposed to stay. Like I need to stay and really figure this out. And I'm gonna tell you this, it wasn't until I had this one conversation with my mentor that really changed my entire perspective on everything that was going on. And we were talking, and he just asked me one simple question. And the question was, Jalan, if you were writing a book right now, and every chapter reflected a different experience in life or a different place that you've been able to live in life, let's just say this next chapter was titled Austin, Texas. What would that chapter be able to say about you? And it was at that moment that my entire perspective shifted. It was at that moment that I was able to embrace everything that I had went through so far and was able to shift it and have more so a positive mindset and be able to move forward and navigate and now be in a space where I can, man, be happy and awesome. Like I love it. Like I can just be here and smile. I can be here and go to work and, man, just enjoy life in Austin and this new life that I found. So I want to throw the question back to you all. If you were writing a book and, man, any place, any experience, those things were your chapters. If you got to this chapter now, and let's say this chapter was titled COVID-19, I would ask you, what would this chapter say about you? Because at the end of the day, again, when it comes to circumstances and just opposition and anything that is just difficult, it's not easy, but the best thing that we could do is change our mindset. The best thing that we could do is embrace it. And lastly, the best thing that we could do is impact. There's a quote, and after this, I'll be done, but I want to leave you all with a quote. This is a quote that I hold very closely to me. It means a lot, and it keeps me pushing, but the quote is by Les Brown, and it says, if you fall, make sure you land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. That's my time. Thank you all so much for allowing me to share with you all.